as an addendum to the last video, the reason why we were having that issue is because I was using a less than node, and I should have been using a less than or equal to, and the icons are reversed. So that'll get fixed in the next release, but that's why. Alright, welcome to part 4, where I'm going to try and make a circle design of my own here. I've mentioned in all 3 videos, I don't script these, I'm talking off the cuff, so you're getting all my ums and ahs and mistakes and bugs live. So, there you go. Now up on the screen I've got a magic circle design that I really like. I found this from an old Minecraft mod actually called Thaumcraft. It's a really cool mod, but no longer active. But I like the magic circle design, so I'm going to try and recreate it in Arcanigen. So I'm going to clear out some of this palette here. And we are going to need this circle, so we might as well use it. I'm going to set this to like 350. This is probably going to be our outermost circle. Maybe. Not sure. I don't know. I don't really have a game plan yet. So we're just gonna rock and roll this. Let's set this as 350. Yeah, okay, this will be our primary triangle. And I'm gonna set up a burst, because I know we're gonna need that. Just the 3 lines though. Doom, doom, doom. Yeah, that can actually be from 350 to 0. We're going to do a 360. And we're going to rotate the whole thing by 60 degrees. Neat. So that's the very beginnings. Alright. Let's work on this outer structure some. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a container. We're just going to paint it blue here. We're going to call this outer ring. We're going to drop this circle in here. And I'm actually going to interject a layer in between those so that it's a little bit easier to work on. And just keep it isolated. So we've got this kind of inner circle here. Let's actually bump that to like 325. And it looks like we have 4 rings. Yeah. So we got 4 rings, and I'm actually going to need a 5th one for the text. So, what I propose is we use a ring, a circle, and another ring. So let's do that. Let's, is it actually capturing my mouse? Yeah, okay. Yeah, cool. I don't know. Let's go from the inside out. Or from the outside in. So we'll go ring. Let's set the outer radius to 360. Let's do 370. Outer radius to 350. That is our outermost ring. That's actually not enough room. Let's just go to 390. Let's go to the very edge of the canvas. Not quite, but close enough. Okay, so that's our outer ring. Cool. We're going to rename that to outermost ring. Let's just do outer ring. Okay. Let's do another ring, and we'll just clone this. And we'll bump that to an inner radius of 350. And an outer radius of 365. I'll just drop that in there. Oh, 350. Yeah, close enough. That worked for me. We'll add another layer in between. And we're going to take this circle and we're just going to go like halfway between these two, which is 380. Now I could do a math node and make sure that that's actually the thing, but yeah. And we'll do a text path. We'll wire this path up to here. Oh, And we'll drop this into here. I'm not going to worry about the content of it yet, but we'll change it to Futhark because I like it. And that'll just be the text that, you know, lines the outside here. We'll find some lorem ipsum to throw in there later. Okay, next up, there are some little tiny daggets here, which we'll use a burst for. We're actually going to need 2. Yeah, so... Alright, let's get a burst in here. I'm not sure how well this actually shows up on camera, but there are these little connecting lines in between these 2 rings. So that's what we're going to work on here. And this is inner ring. So we want this to go from the outer radius of the inner ring, which is 365, to the inner radius of the outer ring, which is 370. Cool. Let's pop that in there. You can just barely see them. And there's quite a number of them, so we're going to just go for 32. We probably want to go from, what is this, 60? 0 to 60, inclusive end. Yeah, that's fine. That's one set of bursts. And we actually want to do a copy of this. Now, was I smart? Probably not. Is there a minimum? Yeah, there's a minimum. Dang it. I need to change that. That's okay. We'll use that as a radial array. So, in the original, there's 2 versions of this, one there and one there. So what we're going to do is we're going to array it like so. Oh. Interesting. Very interesting. That is not what I expected to happen. Huh. Let's see if we do a path array. What happens there? I wonder. Probably weird things. Yeah, weird things happen. Okay. That's fine. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this and change this from... We'll just change the arrangement of angles to... What do we want to do here? This is from 180... 180 plus 60 is 240. Perfect. Okay, and then there are these bigger burst lines here, so we'll just make a copy. And this one actually goes from the inner radius of 350, 365. And there are fewer of them. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? 9? Sure. We'll add 2 more layers. Drop that burst onto there. Yeah, see? There we go. And that is actually a from to, so we'll do a 180. No, 90 minus 30, 60, 120. Perfect. See how those line up? That's nice. That looks good. And we'll just do a clone of this. is this 180 plus 60 is going to be 240 plus 60, 300. Perfect. There they are. Awesome. Let's actually, yeah, see, that's exactly what I want. So far, so good. Okay, so this is the outer ring. All said and done already. Let's get this a little more condensed. Okay, next thing. Let's work on the, I guess the inner triangle we could do. Yeah, let's do that triangle. So we got this bigger triangle here, and that's actually already handled. And we're going to need to use that as a clipping mask. Okay. All right, so this is going to get a little complicated here. That's all right. I'm going to take a little bit of liberty with this section in here. This is going to take some unioning. That's fine. Okay, I know what I'm doing now. First, I need a ring. And the outer ring of this is actually going to be the apothem of this triangle. And the inner side of that is going to be the apothem of the triangle minus some amount yet to be determined. So we're going to do a subtract node. We're going to take the apothem, and we're going to need a primitive for length. Let's start with 10 pixels. See how that looks. And that's the inner. Cool. Let's plug that into here for now. Oh, I got that backwards. My bad. We don't want to subtract, we want an add. So the outer is the apothem plus this. The inner is the apothem. Better. Okay. So yes, it's actually extending past the triangle right now. That's okay. I can live with that for now. We'll deal with that later. We'll need that burst later. Next, I need a circle that is some amount up yonder. Cool. So let's do, I'm talking about this circle up here. So let's do that. Let's say 30 pixels. And I'm gonna bump a layer in here, just so I can see what I'm doing. Have them act independently. Now, once I plug that in, obviously it'll be all sorts of weirdness. Actually, that seems to be the right size. So let's actually not big enough. Not far enough. No, that is actually right. Oh, I could just do the math here, can't I? Apothem. Actually, oh, that looks like it's about the right place here, so I can just plug that into there, and that is correct. Awesome. So I can then also just make a copy of this and set the transform to be the same place and just decrease the radius to like 20. Okay. That's cool. And then we're going to need a really skinny rectangle. Probably a width of 20. Let's say a height of 200. Let's just see how this looks. Well, let's see. If I do a height that is, what, the radius of this triangle, right? Yeah, if I just do a height that is the, yes, and then I can take this and divide it by 2. Divide the circumradius. Divide this by 2. And we'll just bump the position of this up by that. Perfect. See? Oh, that's cool. I like it. I like it. Yeah. Okay, so next up is this crescent shape. And, that's gonna be fun. The best way to do this is probably to do another polygon, set the radius to the apothem of the outer polygon. I'm just gonna throw this in here real quick. Yup. And we just need to rotate it by 180 degrees. And there's that. Awesome. So now I should be able to use the apothem of that. And this circle is a little bit bigger than this one, so we're going to say 40 pixels. Set the position of this one to be the apothem of that. Yeah. I'm not sure I like the gap on that, so I might actually... Here's the, yeah, that's right, okay. That's using the apothem of that. Oh, nope, that was a mistake. What I'm trying to decide here, just to actually verbalize this, is whether or not this upper circle should be tangent to the inner or outer. And I'm not actually sure. So that is the nature of what I'm contemplating now. I'm going to leave it there. So I just bumped it down just a little bit. So yeah, let me get this slightly more organized. This is crescent up. This is the tiny ring outer. This tiny ring inner. Now there is a specific reason why I didn't use a ring, and that is because we're actually going to boolean a whole bunch of this together. So we'll get to that. Yep. This ring. What is this ring? This is the actual, like, outer ring of this. Cool. So I need to do this crescent up clone. I'm going to do this as 35. And we're going to subtract 5 pixels. Come on, there we go. From this apothem and shove that into here. And just to make sure I'm looking at this correctly, perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, now Now I need to actually like wire these up and collapse them into a single shape. So we're going to come into the math ones and we're going to do a path unify. Let's start with this ring. Okay. So that's the ring. And I think we can actually just add the triangle next. Or the rectangle. So that's this ring plus this rectangle. Awesome. And then we can add in let's do this tiny ring outer. Cool. And then we do a subtract. Well, first, actually, I need to subtract the crescents from each other. So crescent up here. Down. Cool. Okay. So that's going to be this crescent minus this crescent. And then we can add that into there. We can add these two together, so this plus that. Okay. And then I just need to subtract the inside crescent. The inside ring. Tiny ring inner. There you are. Okay. Awesome. So I'm actually going to delete all these layers. I think the only thing I want to save here is this one. Yep, we delete this one. Delete this layer. We'll delete this layer. Delete that layer and delete that layer. Okay. So now we've got this path subtract, and we need to put these all into a single shape. And with any luck, I should be able to just plug this in. Oh, almost. Almost. Tiny ring inner is in the wrong place. That's the outer ring. Tiny ring inner and tiny ring outer have the same offset, don't they? Oh. Oh, nope, 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 nope. Oh yeah, that's why. Okay, I need to take this to use the apothegm directly. Hey. What is going on here? Give me this. There we go. Okay, yeah, that's more what I was expecting. Let's actually change the radius of that one. So yeah, now we have this weird crescent shape thing going on, which is cool. And then we're going to clip this entire thing. So we're going to take this output, put it here, and where is this big old polygon? I think it's this one. We'll find out in a second. Oh. Nope. Wrong one. I think it's actually this one. Yes. Okay, that's what I was expecting. Sweet deal. So now it's all clipped on the inside there. Awesome. Now, let me get myself a little bit more organized here. We'll just call it underlay. I don't really care. Okay, so this is the big triangle. I'm just gonna chuck everything into here and sort it out later. Cool. What's next? Oh, there was that burst that I chucked away that I need to... There it is. There we go. Cool. No. Right. Let's get this burst back into action. Yep, that's fine. Now there is another burst here that is not rotated. Excuse me. So we need to undo, or that is, rather, it is rotated. And it has a different inner radius. It's actually that. So let's... Well, first off, let's actually get it into the shape so I can see what I'm looking at. Yeah, see this. And I need to clip it to there, except I don't want to actually clip it. I want to use the ring's outer radius. The ring's outer radius is this. So this add node right there. Cool. And then we actually want to have this happen on top of this, I think. Maybe I need to reduce this to 2 bursts, and instead of... Yeah, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Start and stop. We want this to be... Start it at 120 degrees, end it at 120, 180, 240. There we go. That's more what I was expecting. Nice. That's interesting. Okay, yeah, I need another copy of that. That's cool. Clone. Inner radius of 0, outer radius to be the apothem of this smaller polygon. So this apothem goes to the outer radius of here. Oh, I targeted the wrong one. Dang it. This apothem to the outer radius here. We can take this and go up to here. Perfect. See? How cool is that? That's pretty cool. Still a bit of a mess, but, you know, we'll get there. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I guess we can do the... Let's do the circles, like all the circles that are dotted around here. This should actually be fairly easy. So we're gonna just set up another layer here. We'll just wire it in now. We're just gonna eyeball it here. So first, I need a circle, and I know we're gonna need a bunch of polygon arrays. Let's worry about the cardinal directions first. Probably closer to 30. Oh, my cat wants out. Hang on. Hi, buddy. Go on. And yeah, I'm just going to use a circle for now. I imagine in the fullness of time we'll probably want to add in a ring in a couple places, but that's fine. Actually, you know what? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're going to do 6. And we're going to use a sequencer, because that'll be even more fun. 3. Well, I can't actually use a sequencer. I need to handle that slightly different because the radius of this one is a little bit more different, a little different from the other ones. So I'm going to set the fill color of these to be white, just so that they're not in the way. 250, 300. Nope. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, that's fine. I can dig it. And I know there's shapes inside of here too, but you know, we'll deal with that in a second. I'm going to duplicate this one and duplicate this one. Same. This. And this one, I'm going to actually pull the apothem from that triangle again. Come here. You're just coming over here for a minute. Oh, I need to speed up the scroll handler. I was really weird about that. Oh, no, we actually want the circumradius. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Cool. So those are the 3 dots there. And we're just going to clone it again. And clone these again. And set these to 5. And set that to there. And we'll collapse this. Add a layer. Throw this into there. Set the radius to... not big enough. Sure, why not? And let's just throw a nice big old circle in here. Right in the center. We'll decorate that more later. 50, let's actually bring that up to 70, just to get that a little out of the way. I mean, the proportions are slightly different, but you know, cool. And we need one more circle. Say radius 40. See how that looks. Appearance, no, not appearance. Transforms. Polar 180. And set this to 240. 300. No. And we're actually gonna bump the size of that down, so this is probably gonna be 360. There we go. That's our bottom. I mean, as a rough, like, How long have we been recording? Half hour? Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, obviously we can... There we go. And I can add in more detail here if I really wanted to, like adding rings to these circles here. And like I said, the proportions are slightly different. Yeah, but like, you know, as a proof of concept, I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm noticing how slowly this scrolls, and ugh, the scroll wheel handler is just not great. I'm gonna play with that and see what's going on, see if I can get that to be faster. But yeah, that's kind of how you do it. You don't necessarily have to do all these weird math things. You could just rough line it, or if you thought it through better, you probably could take better advantage of the different math operations that go on and parameterize these to be a little bit more consistent and wire them up differently. But like, yeah, I made this up as I was going along. So yeah, that's Arcanigen for you. Have fun.